Hey there guys, how's it going? Tyler here with your Movie Fix, and today we're going to be talking about Deadpool. Directed by Tim Miller, starring Ryan Reynolds, Monica Baccarin, and TJ Miller, the merc with the mouth is finally here. Former Special Forces turned mercenary Wade Wilson undergoes experimental procedures to rid him of his cancer. Not only does it get rid of his cancer, it turns him into a fucking superhero. Kinda. So first off, I want to say that this movie is fairly simple. Now, one thing that I kind of criticized it for, at least in the trailers before I saw it, was I was kind of tired of seeing this highway scene. We kept seeing what's going on the highway with him killing those guys in the van, and just on that one little strip of highway, that's all we would ever see. And a ginormous chunk of this movie actually does take place right there on that highway. I'd say about, you could almost argue half of the movie takes place right there. But it was really cool. This was a very interesting way to tell a story, kind of unconventional with what they were doing, with telling some things backwards, but basically what it would do is it started off with that highway, and they used the highway as a medium for him to talk to Colossus or the villain Ajax, and he would just give flashbacks, and those were for us to understand the backstory, and that's where we'd get all of the backstory for the movie. But it worked very well, and it was a very interesting way to tell the origin of this character, and you really bought into it. I know a lot of people have been talking about the romance and how it did work, and the romance between Wade and Veronica, I believe her name was very Bible. You could definitely buy into it. They had a very interesting relationship. We heard rumors of there being a sex montage. That was very funny. They had a great chemistry. I really was hoping, I mean, it was a fairly small cast, so when you have a cast this small, you would really hope that everyone plays off of each other very well. And her character and Wade had a very, very interesting chemistry. They worked very well. Nothing to really complain about there. Both of them performed very well. I'll get more into that a little bit later. Now let's talk about the humor in this movie. Now, if you're a fan of Deadpool, if you're a fan of raunchy, if you're a fan of dirty, this delivers. It delivers all the fucking way. I mean, this movie was hilarious. I'm not really a big Deadpool fan. I don't buy into the shtick of it in the comics. I still probably don't care to read the comics, but I will watch 20 more of these fucking Deadpool movies if I have to. These are fantastic, and they make jokes all throughout the movie. About turning it into a series or franchise, whatever. Not a spoiler, but it is very self-aware of what's going on within the story and how there's an audience watching the movie. The fourth wall breaking worked great. None of it was cheesy. When I saw a couple of the trailers, and there were a couple lines where I was like, man, that has the possibility to come out very cheesy, but none of the humor came out cheesy. It worked. I mean, people were laughing every 5 minutes. I can't think of a time when there wasn't something funny, even when it maybe shouldn't have been. As in, the situation wasn't funny, but something that Wade would say or another characters and Wade would react, it made it hilarious. I mean, I'm talking maybe even sooner than every 5 minutes. This could win like a best comedy easily for being an action movie first. But it is fucking hilarious. It delivers on the Deadpool. There's no way you can be disappointed as a Deadpool fan. I don't really see how. I say that this is probably rated R more for the language and the context of things happening. I hear that they had to reel in some of the gore, which I did kind of expect some more gore. I know his books are pretty bad with that, in a good way. And there could have been more of it. It could have been a more hard R with as far as the gore goes, but it was just less than I expected. Now, Ryan Reynolds playing as Deadpool, the whole entire movie and getting Ryan back, this whole thing just seems like an anomaly to me. To go from what he did with Origins, he already had a shot at an X-Men franchise. He had a shot at Deadpool. It wasn't received well, especially the Deadpool portion of that movie. And then he got a shot at Green Lantern. He was trying DC. Although he was not the problem with that movie. I don't think Hal Jordan even was the problem with that movie. I think the problem was the story and the villain, but not Ryan Reynolds. But that's 2 goes around now that he has had at a superhero. And now he's coming back. And not only is he going to be in the same franchise, rebooted, he's going to be playing the same character. And to give him a third chance at a hero, second chance at a hero he's been before, I just think that's crazy for him to get that chance. And him being a producer, I know that he tried his best to please the fans and to make it the best absolute Deadpool movie that he could. But man, it worked. And on just a couple things that this movie spawned quite a few questions. Now, I know they have the critics' TV spots and stuff like that where they say things, usually just, to grab attention. But the question is this movie a game changer? Is it groundbreaking? That's a tough thing to ask because, yes, we have never gotten a movie like this. Nothing compares to Deadpool. What this movie is, there's nothing like it. That's just the facts. That's how it is. But I still wouldn't call it groundbreaking or a game changer because that would assume that this movie is going to change the way that comic book movies are made or how they are received, and I think the superhero fatigue in movies, I think that's made up. That's something critics like to talk about. These movies get higher and higher ratings, they make more and more money, so that's just bullshit. I'll probably talk about that in another video. But I wouldn't say that this movie is a game changer, because I don't want to see another comic book movie try to mimic something that they did in Deadpool. Deadpool works because he's Deadpool, because he can break the fourth wall, and I don't want to say that, oh, because he's self-aware that it's a comic book movie, haha, get it, because it's stupid. That just kind of dismisses the fact that comic book movies can be great, and I don't really like that when people get into it. But as far as it being a game changer, no, I don't think it is. I don't think this is going to change the way movies are made. I do think the movie is fantastic. I think it's highly entertaining, very funny. It is a very, very good movie. But I'm not going to say that it's a game changer, because I don't want to see something else try to copy Deadpool. To put something in the same league of this, and it is a rated R movie, but I still don't think that necessarily opens the doors for more R-rated comedy comic book movies, because we have gotten Kingsman and Kick-Ass 1 and 2. Variable success with both the Kick-Asses, but they were received well among the fans. But Kingsman was a success in every way, financially and critically. And those are both R-rated. Both Kick-Ass and Kingsman are R-rated comic book comedy movies. And they worked very well. And I put Deadpool in that same vein of it being a comedy comic book movie. But there's only so many properties you can do that with, and only so many properties you'd want to see be rated R. Should they continue to make more R-rated Deadpool movies? Fuck yes, they should. And if they wanted to do something with X-Force, that would be fantastic. I'm not totally against even an R-rated X-Men movie, but why is it rated R? And what Deadpool was mostly the humor and how Wade Wilson and Deadpool were. And that's not something I want to see with another character. I don't want to see someone try to emulate that. That would just be bad. But it worked very well for this movie. And another thing this movie brought up to me was the question of what the hell is going on with the X-Men timeline. I know in an interview Ryan Reynolds said that you could say that Deadpool is in his own universe, which just kind of confuses me, because there are a couple things that happen in this movie where you kind of question what is going on with how does it fall. And I know there's a joke about the timelines in the movie, but that still doesn't really explain anything, especially Colossus, who I loved in the movie. I really enjoyed him. He was very funny. I like that they went more with the classic Colossus. He's always like that steel, and he's Russian. He works, but he's also the most confusing thing, because I assume that this movie took place in the modern timeline that was established in Days of Future Past in the future. So it was just confusing, because at the end of that movie we see Colossus as Daniel Cudmore, and he was human. He could turn back and forth into Colossus. But in this we had this big ass steel Colossus who's Russian, totally not Daniel Cudmore, totally not that version of Colossus. So it's just a little confusing with what's going on with the timeline. I guess maybe Gambit will answer a couple more things, but it's really up in the air. It could just be a retcon. But him and Negasonic Teenage Warhead were both awesome. She was really funny. They had great chemistry with Deadpool. It all worked pretty fantastically. Now, just some final thoughts on the movie. Again, it is very entertaining, very hard R-rated. It fucking delivers on the Deadpool. And stick around if you want to stick around to the end of the movie if you want to find out what's going on with the other movies in Deadpool. But I definitely recommend you go check this out. You have to see it. It's something to experience just for the entertainment value. There's no big moving epic thing going on in this movie, but the entertainment factor and the funny factor and just watching Ryan Reynolds bring this character to life, and boy does he fucking do it, is totally worth the price of admission. You got to go check this movie out. So anyways, guys, comment down below, what did you think of the Deadpool movie, and what are you expecting going into it? Anyways, guys, this has been your Movie Fix. Be sure to subscribe for more movie news, movie reviews, and trailer reactions, things like that. I'll see you guys on the next video.